Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about the last concept of this chapter, which is a congestion control. So, congestion control is a very important in the networking. So let's understand first what is congestion is. So a state occurring in network layer when the message traffic is so heavy that is slow down the network response time, that is called the congestion. A situation where it's something like our traffic. Yes, if we are going on the roads and too many vehicles are on the road, so it creates the traffic. Yes, so that is the same situation in the networking. If we are transferring as many packets in the network, but the network can't handle that packets at a time, so at that time the congestion is created and it slow down the network response time. Yes, same as in our traffic, that if a traffic is occur, so it slow down the vehicle speed. Yes, so that is called the congestion. So if next is the effects of congestion. So what are the effects of congestion is, so first is a delay increase and performance decreases. As I said that it slow down the network speed, so that is why the delay is increased. If I send the packet to the receiver side, but the receiver doesn't send the acknowledgement of that packet in the proper time. Suppose I send the packet at 3:30 p.m. Yes, but at that same time receiver receives that packet, but receiver already sent the acknowledgement to the sender, but due to the heavy traffic in the network, it creates some delay to the sender side, so that decrease the performance of the network. The second effect is, if delay increase, retransmission occurs, making situation worse. It means as I said that receiver already sent acknowledgement of packet to the sender, but due to the heavy traffic on the network, it doesn't reach at the exact time. So sender thinks that the packet is not received by the receiver because it sender doesn't get acknowledgement at the specified time, so it retransmit that packet to the receiver, so that creates a retransmission, more retransmission. If more retransmission occurs, because there is already traffic in network, but if we are retransmitting that packets more and more, that it makes our situation more worse. Yeah, so that is the effect of congestion. Now let's understand congestion with a simple example. So imagine a bucket and water enters in the bucket and the overflow is constant rate. Yes, so here this is one bucket. If we are adding water in bucket more and more, so at some point the bucket is full, but after a bucket is full, we are adding more water, in that bucket. Then what happened? If when the bucket is full with water, additional water entering spills over the sides and is lost. Yes, so if we are adding the more water in the bucket after bucket is full, then other water is flowing from their sides, so that we can compare that situation with our network congestion. Like if our network is already in a heavy traffic, yes, already congestion, network is already in congestion, and if we are sending more and more packets on that network, so it may happen that some of the packet may be lost. So similarly, when too many packets rushing to the host or the part of the network, some of the packet may lost while transmission and network performance decrease. So this situation is called the congestion in the network. So suppose you can compare this situation like this bucket is our network. Yes, the tap from which the water comes out, it is a sender. Yes, and the other side there is one receiver. Yes, now sender sends more and more data packets on that bucket, more and more data packets on this network bucket. After filling all the data packets in the buckets, now bucket is full. and after that if we are adding more and more packets on that bucket, so it may possible that some of the data packets may be dropped, or that if we are adding more additional packets on that network bucket, it may be possible that it spills over the sides and is lost. So this is how the network congestion is done in the networking. So the packets are constantly lost in the congestion network. So what gives rise to the congestion? So the resource contentions, it means it offered load is greater than the system capacity. If our system capacity only is 2 GB RAM and we are opening more and more applications in our laptop, so what happened that at some time our laptop may hang, our laptop may hang. So that situation is occurred due to resource contention. Same as in the network, if the capacity of network is low but we are offering more and more load on that network, so the situation is created congestion. So first reason for this is a resource contention, and second is too much data for the network to handle. Yes, and because the capacity of network is less than the data packets received, then it may the network can't handle the too many network data packets. Now next is what is the cause of congestion. So packet arrive faster than the router can forward them. Yes, so this is creates a cause of congestion. We can compare this situation with if we are ordering food, yes, on one restaurant. So at that restaurant, if there are only two chefs who are preparing a food, and 100 people gives order at a time, so what happened? Due to the less resources, it may take some more time. Yes, it creates a delay, and if we are not getting our order at a time, then we again call to the restaurant and again ask for the serve. Yes, so that creates a congestion at the restaurant. So this is how packet arrives faster than the router can forward them. So that situation is called create a congestion. Second is the routers queue packets that they cannot serve immediately. So it creates, if we are adding more and more packets on the network, yes, so it stay in one queue, and because we are not serving each and every packet immediately, so the queue is become long. So that is create the congestion. So next is why congestion is bad. So if queue overflows, packets are dropped. It is same like a bucket. If bucket overflows, some packets are dropped. So same as queue overflows, packets are dropped. And next is queue packets experience delay, and it may delay to receive a packet at receiver side and receive acknowledgement at the sender side. So it creates a delay due to congestion. So that is why the congestion is bad. Now what is the congestion control? Congestion control refers to the technique used to control or prevention the congestion. If congestion created, now there is concept of congestion control, which and by using this technique of congestion, we can control the congestion over the network. Congestion control technique can be broadly classified into the two categories. First is open loop congestion, and second is closed loop congestion. So let's understand both of this technique. First is a open loop congestion. So tools for doing open loop control, including deciding when to accept a new traffic, deciding when to discard packet and which ones, and making schedule decision at various points in the network. So that is called the open loop. In the open loop, some of the tools are working for the congestion control, and it decides one time at that particular time schedule that accept a new traffic. At another deciding schedule, some of the packets are discarded from the network. Yes, so that is called that is happened during the open loop congestion control. and which ones, and making schedule decision at various points of in the network. So in the open loop congestion, it already schedules some time, and at that particular time some traffic is accepted, some data packets may be data packet is discarded. So that is how the congestion is controlled in the open loop. So if we are discarding some of the non-relevant packet from network at that particular time, so it may happen that that discarded packet is helpful to accept the new packets in the network. So it may possible that less congestion is created. So that is the concept in open loop. Second is a closed loop. So this approach has three parts when applied to congestion control. First is it monitor the system to detect when and where congestion occurs. So monitoring the system, first it does not schedule like open loop, like at that particular time packets are discarded, at particular time packets are accepted. Yes, in the closed loop, first all the network is analyzed at that which and where the congestion is occurred. Yes, it detect the congestion points. Second is pass this information to place where action can be taken. Yes, so it is something like some of the traffic police are analyzed that in which area the more traffic is occurred, and that information is passed to the RTO place where the action can be taken. So this is a second phase, so that pass information to place where the action can be taken. And the last, adjust the system operation to correct the problem. Now some operation is applied on that situation that where the congestion is created, so we can control the congestion at that point. It is something like that. Now if more traffic is created on one area like ABC area, so at that area we are putting a signals, we are putting more traffic police on that area. So from that action we can control the traffic. So that is happen in the congestion control in closed loop, that it adjusts the system operation and correct the problem based on the analysis of congestion. Yes, so that is how the closed loop congestion is worked. Now TCP also use a form of end-to-end flow control and congestion control. Yes, so both the sender and receiver agree on a common window size for a packet flow. While in the TCP, TCP also provide the congestion control. So in that, first step is, so both the sender and receivers agree on the common window size for the packet flow. So in this situation, sender is already deciding one window frame size. Suppose the window size is 7, so the same window size is followed by the receiver. And next is the window size represents the number of bytes that the source can send at a time. So this is already decided by the TCP protocol. Yes, that number of frames that is sent at a time, so that is called the window, that is called the number of bytes, that is decided already. So suppose it is something like that, only the 5 data packets is sent at a time, so the receiver can handle that 5 data packets on that window. So that is created the congestion control, and we can handle that congestion control. Last is the window size varies according to the congestion of traffic in network to avoid the congestion. So suppose the sender are sending the 10 data packets at a time, but the size of the receiver's window is only 5 frames. So if traffic is occurring more and more from the sender side, so the window size of the receiver is adjusted based on the current traffic. So that is defined in the TCP protocol. So there is a main two method to control the congestion in the TCP. First is a additive increase, and second is a slow start. So first in the additive increase, it is also known as additive increase and multiplicative decrease. So in this the congestion is increased in the addition manner, and it is decreased in the multiplication. So as we already know that if we add the two numbers, suppose the number is 2 and 3, so if we add 2 plus 3, then it becomes 5, and if we multiply 2 and 3, then it becomes 6. So in the additive increase, the conjugation is increased in the additive manner while it is decreased in the multiplication manner. So that is why it is very useful to decrease the conjugation in the network. TCP maintains a new variable for each connection called the conjugation window, which is also used by the source to limit how much data it is allowed to have in transit at given time. And the conjugation window represents the amount of data in bytes. So there is a one conjugation variable is maintained by the TCP, which allows a conjugation window to allow increase or decrease based on the situation. Like AIMD performs a slow increase in the conjugation while the window size when the conjugation in the network decrease, and a fast drop in window size when the conjugation is increased. So if the conjugation is increased in the network, then the window size become more and more large, and if conjugation is decreased, then the window size is also decreased. So that is how additive manner algorithm is worked. This is the figure that shows the conjugation control in the additive manner. And thus first we are sending the one data packets to the destination port, while destination acknowledge that packet. Then after source sends 2 data packets, and then 3, and then 4. So if a conjugation is more in the network, then window sizes increases. So if we add 10 data packets in the network, so it can easily handled by the network. Second method is a slow start method. So in the slow start method, first initially it start with the slow process, small window size. Suppose slow start method increase the conjugation window size non-linearly, and in most cases exponentially as compared to the linear increase in the additive increase. So in this figure we shown that first it sends first 1 data packets. So at the initial start, when the TCP connection is established between client and sender, then initially it sets the conjugation window to 1 packet. When its corresponding acknowledgement is received by the sender, then only the size of the window is become 2. After receiving the 2 acknowledgement of that packet, then the size of the window is become 4. After acknowledgement is getting by the sender, the size of the window is become 8. So it start with the slow process, and then it is increased in the exponentially manner. So this is how the method is worked in the this is how the conjugation control is happen in the slow start method. So this is the 2 method of TCP. Now the main thing is to understand what is a flow control and what is a conjugation control. So there are some differences. So in the flow control, it is controlled by only sender. Yes, we know that the the flow control is managed by the transport layer as well as the data link layer by the sender, while in the conjugation control is controlled by the router. It is the problem of network, so that is controlled by the router, not by the sender or the receiver. Second point is buffering used in flow control, while buffering is not possible in the conjugation control. Third one is flow control cannot block the bandwidth of medium, while conjugation control can block the bandwidth of medium. Because flow control is something like that sender sends more and more data packets without saying that the receiver is receiving that data packets or not. So we can block the bandwidth of the medium at the sender side, but the conjugation is created in the network on that path where the data packet is traveled. So we cannot block that road. Yes, we can compare that network with the road. So we cannot block that road. So that is the main difference between flow and conjugation control. Next is a packet is lost between one sender and receiver, while in the conjugation control other users packet is lost. Here sender sending 10 data packets to the receiver, but receiver can't handle that packets. Suppose receiver only handles 8 data packets, so at that time 2 data packet is lost by the sender. So it's responsibility of sender to send that 2 data packets to the receiver. While in the conjugation control, because heavy traffic in the network can't adjust the traffic in their transmission media. That is why some packets may be lost, and that packet is from any users. So that is a congestion controls. Next is it affects less on the network, while in the congestion it affects more on the network. As we already know that flow control is flow is sent by the sender, so it doesn't affect the network, while congestion is created on that network, so that is why it affects more on the network. So that are the main difference between flow and congestion control. So that is all about the congestion control in the network. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.